Greetings and salutations, everybody. My name is MiAh the King, and today we're taking a look at a little indie game called This Land Is My Land. Ugh. That's what I gotta say about this. Ugh. However, in this video, you will hear many negatives about this game, but I do want to say that this game does have an incredible baseline to work with. I think the foundation for this game is amazing. The graphics are really good, and the idea is unique and interesting. This game is in early access, so it's of course going to have some problems. A lot of problems. But let's not get into that just yet. First, let's talk about the game on the whole. And let me say this. I did not do a full hour to 2 hours of gameplay. I played this only for half an hour before it crashed on me, and that's where I stopped. So this is really just a first impressions video, no review. Also, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, please. It doesn't affect you at all, and it helps me out a bunch. Okay? Thank you. Sorry about the noise in the background. That's my cat deciding to be a little shit. So, this game is a survival game where you play as a Native American. The Steam store page describes this game as follows. Experience the frontier as a chief of a Native American tribe and resist the onset of the settlers. Explore the vast world full of hostile humans and animals while defining your narrative through the decisions you make. Survive, hunt, craft, unite, and lead the tribes to take back your lands. And, to be honest, that's pretty much what you get here. You start off on your own in the middle of nowhere with a bland, broad goal of what you're supposed to be doing. I still don't really know what it was I was supposed to be doing at all. I just kind of ran around and grabbed whatever I could find and killed whatever I could find. The problems with this game start off right at the beginning, unfortunately. The loading times are too long and there's no musical sound or, well, no real sound at all in the beginning, to be honest. So it's really hard to figure out if your game froze or crashed or if it's just loading a really long time. So each loading screen made me uneasy, and by the end of this video, I can say that's fair because my video, at the very end, if I have it in here, it's going to show a super long loading screen, and then my game crashed. Which, now that I think about it, it didn't record the crash, it only recorded the long loading screen. Whatever, take my word for it. The stability of the game is obviously in question, but the processing and the clipping is something that was starting to give me a headache. But this did dial down a bit after I lowered the graphics, so if you choose to support this game, make sure you play with low to medium graphical settings for the best experience. And it ain't my computer. My computer played Jedi Fallen Order at the best graphics just fine, thank you very much. So, let's break this down. In the beginning, it had high potential, and I actually found myself smiling and thinking how cool this was. But after you get into the game, that excitement died down really fast. The tutorial is terrible and practically non-existent, and the UI is awful. It's all very confusing, and it's really hard to get into right away. It's something that after hours of playing you'd be used to, but for new players, everything just feels awkward and weird. The stiff movement of your character doesn't really help with that awkward feeling either. And it was the clipping in the beginning that was just really turning me off really quick. But the worst part of starting a new game here was the lack of direction. I mean, I could forgive everything else I mentioned and allow the game time to grow on me, but without any real direction or purpose, the game just feels boring and empty. I mean, it gives you a broad goal, and then just nothing else, no other information. So, since I had no idea what it was I was supposed to be doing or where to go, I just took off in a random direction and started exploring on my own. I was hoping that maybe I'd figure out where I was supposed to be going or what I was supposed to be doing. I learned that you cannot craft structures or buildings of any kind, and instead you can find empty camps and take those under your control. All you can craft are things for your character to use, like a bow, arrow, clothing, medicine, stuff like that. And instead of recruiting other players to your faction, you have to recruit NPCs that you find scattered about into your tribe. For some kind of larger purpose later on, I'm sure. And you just try to explore, survive, and expand. That's the gist of it, I think. I mean, like I said, it's really hard to try to figure out what it is exactly that you're supposed to be doing. So to sum up, the game is early access, so you're not going to get an amazing experience here. There are bugs, there are glitches, game crashes, clipping, lack of music, confusing UI, awkward movement, lack of direction, and along with that, no real goals. But, I mean, that's all you got for the bad, and, you know, some of that, if not all of that, is most likely because the game is still in super early access. But for all those negatives I said, I think that this game is actually a really good idea. I think it's super unique and takes the survival genre in a direction I don't think I've seen yet. You're not building. You're not trying to beat other players. In fact, the game kind of urges you to work with other players. You see, each player is a chieftain, and you're all trying to fight off the white man. You're also not surrounded by other players when you start, which is refreshing. Though it does have the same kind of recruitment style that I've seen in other survival games like this, But at least it's not another zombie survival game, right? It has a great idea going for it. I think that with some more time under its belt and, hearing the advice and adhering, that's what I meant to say, adhering to the advice of its fan base, these developers might end up making something truly special. I love the idea of being a Native American chief who has to build up his clan from nothing while hiding and fighting off both wild animals and the white man invaders. No building your own structures, so there's no fear of griefing players or mass player creations popping up everywhere. And this helps the game to feel more like the open wilderness it's trying to be. I love the idea of two players, each with large tribes, having to work together to attack a white man's fort or town or something. I do hope that there will be more to the game than just attacking the white man. Maybe when your tribe is big enough, you can customize it, maybe create your own village or your own fort or something. Maybe choosing to arm your people with rifles instead of bows. Coordinating with other tribes, whether they be players or NPCs. Events where the white man sets up a new trade route through your territory and you need to find a way to stop them. Maybe you have this large settlement full of the NPCs you've collected and another player and his large settlement of NPCs that he collected, and you guys are fighting over territory and you can watch each other's NPCs fight each other. That could be a cool idea. I think this game has a whole heck of a lot of potential, and I truly think, honestly, that if these developers keep pushing forward, they might eventually turn this game into something very interesting. But, even with that being said, I have to be honest, and I don't think that it's worth $40, not by a long shot. That price tag alone forced me to think, rethink, and then rethink again whether or not I should spend the money to try the game out. For something so early and for something so empty and so broken, I think the developers should definitely cut that price tag in half. $20 per person, because essentially we're its beta testers. We're testing the game for them. We give them advice, we inform them of bugs, we're the guys that are doing the dirty work. So why are we spending $40 on a game that's, so early, so underdeveloped, and could die off? I think when the game is fully released, that $40 would be an excellent price. But for right now, that's just too much, and for that reason alone, I had to get a refund. I can't afford to spend $40 on a game like that. It's not done, and I'm not going to play, so I'm not going to spend the 40. Instead, I'm going to get my money back, and I'm going to buy two games for $20 each. So, look at that. That right there is something the game developers should take in mind. I can't afford it. And I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there that can't afford $40 either. Not only did I notice those negatives I mentioned earlier, but if you're a gamer, then you're going to understand what I say when I say the game felt like it wasn't done, it wasn't smooth, and it wasn't interesting. And you know what I mean. You can feel out your games. You can feel a game when you're playing it. And this game just felt wrong. That's the best way I can put it. But even Ark, when it was in early access, didn't charge $40. I'm pretty sure they didn't. It's been a long time, but I'm pretty sure they only charged between like $20 and $30 for their early access game. What I'm trying to say here is that this game has a very unique and interesting idea, and it's going about it in the right way, but it's just not there yet. It's not ready, and it's not worth $40 yet. If I were you, I would keep it on your wish list and wait for a significant discount if you want to support this game and these developers. But if you heard what I had to say and feel like it's just not worth it, then I can't blame you either. As unique and interesting as this idea is, it's been done before, just with different skins and different preferences. But still, I do think it's pretty cool, and if it wasn't for the $40 price tag, I wouldn't have been getting a refund. I would have kept it, and I would have let my money go to support these guys, and to support their unique game. But, I just don't, and I'm sure a lot of people like me just don't have the money to be able to spend $40 on something like this that's just not done. I don't know why I see so many early access games popping up and they're charging these ludicrous prices. It's ridiculous. You should not be charging. If anything, if you're gonna charge $40 like that, then include a free demo or something, just something. But right now, and another thing, I mentioned this when I was playing that alien survival game. I don't remember what it was called, but when I was playing that alien survival game that turned out to be a zombie survival game, I said the same thing to the developers when they commented on my video. I was like, in your first 2 hours, you need to have something explosive. You need to have something that is going to draw the players in. Now, granted, I didn't play up to 2 hours, so there could be. But it didn't feel like there would be. And that might not be fair, and that's fine for you to think that. But in my mind, when I first log on to a game, when I first start playing a game, the game first impression is what is going to keep me pushing forward through the bugs, through the boring parts, because I experienced something cool, so there has to be more, right? But a lot of these early access games, well, okay, that's not fair. Some of these early access games just don't put their best foot forward. Maybe because they're afraid, maybe because they can't. But I mean, what was it? Risen 3 showed you you're on a ship and you're doing all this cool fighting these netherworld creatures, and it was showing you the future of the game, and it was the coolest part of the game. And then the game turned into crap after that. But they showed you how cool the game was. More early access games should be doing that. They should be putting their best foot forward. They should be sitting there and showing you the best of the game. And then maybe giving you a small cutscene or dialogue or something. And then it puts you in the very beginning where you have to recreate, rebuild, you're all alone doing nothing. At least then it would give players an idea of like, oh, this is pretty cool. Look at what I mean, we had this in the beginning, so it's obviously we're going to be able to get to that point again. So I'm going to push forward and I'm going to get back to that point. And it urges the player, not forces, urges the player to keep pushing on because there is cooler stuff coming out. There is cooler stuff in the game. You just need to work to it. But for a game like this, and for $40, I can't get over that $40 price tag. It's just too much money. Just too much money. And I don't think it's worth it. The game is slow, it's clunky, it's awkward, and it's not finished. For an early access game, $40 is simply asking too much. I don't care who you are. But I still like it. I like the idea, I like the premise, and I like the direction they're going. Maybe in a year I could find myself spending $40 on this. Maybe. But I just not right now. So that's about all I got to say for this one, guys. Take what you will from it, but please be careful when you're spending your money. I honestly don't think that this is worth $40. So, you take that however you want, but I'm telling you right now, if you spend $40 on this, you're probably going to be disappointed. Like I said, I do like the game, and I can understand why it's got positive reviews on Steam, but it's just not worth $40, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry, developers. It's just not. You really need to drop that price tag. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I hope I helped some of you out there come up with a decision, and I hope I helped some of you out there save some money. I can't wait to see you guys on my next adventure, so until then, I bid you farewell.